Well, looks like we got another terrible freaking show tonight. I'm the Godfather Soldiers and Slimmy, and name my topic tonight is called Questionable, Quagmire, and Quarrelsome in Quebec. Quebec, Canada tonight. Will Clash in Paris be any good in 3 weeks? So much I say. But before I do, I'm gonna show with some with a little music. I'm gonna show with the song. For those who know, today's the 30th anniversary of the movie Dangerous Minds, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, was released on this day, 1995. I'm gonna show the movie's theme song called "Gangster's Paradise" from the movie Dangerous Minds by late Coolio, in honor of the movie's 30th anniversary. So stick around right back. I'm gonna get the music playing, and I'll be right back. So here it is, "Gangster's Paradise" by Coolio, on the movie's 30th anniversary of Dangerous Minds, starring Michelle Pfeiffer. So stick around. I'll be right back. Yep. So all you heard, "Gangster's Paradise" by Coolio. All you just heard, and on the movie's 30th anniversary day, "Game Dangerous Minds," the movie soundtrack by starring Michelle Pfeiffer. So let's get down with tonight's show. Terrible it was. Hold on one second. Okay, let's get into tonight's show. We gotta get some big news for all of you. So, WWE Hall of Famer JBL to join announce team for AAA Triple Mania 33, which is this Saturday. And so so let's get down with tonight's show. Then now together forever, the WWE video. Yeah, okay, so yeah, then now together, then now forever together, the WWE video leads us in the show. Last week on Raw, Seth Rollins battled LA Knight in the main event with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. CM Punk interfered, costing Knight the match. After Braun Breaker, Big Bronson Reed, who were banned from ringside, attacked them. Roman Reigns came out for the save, but he was also destroyed. Reed stole Reigns' shoes again. Michael Cole and Corey Graves welcome us to the show. We were supposed to have a women's world championship match tonight, but Naomi's not making it clear to compete. That's a shame. I think she's probably faking that. I don't think she's trying to pull a Seth Rollins move, trying to do what Seth Rollins did. Yeah, I mean, this is just shocking me. How are we supposed? I mean, how are we supposed to have the match for Clash in Paris, facing off against Stephanie Vicare on the last day of August? It's terrible. Okay, CM Punk kicks off WWE Raw. CM Punk's music hits to a big ovation. Punk makes his way to the ring, and the crowd loudly chants his name. Punk says it's great to be alive on a Monday night in Quebec City or what. It make it hard for him to stay angry, but he thinks about how he should be the world heavyweight champion right now. Punk should be here representing this company as and people as champion, but he's not. Punk is little bit angry about it. Punk has a Seth Rollins problem. The self-professed visionary who can't see right in front of his face. Rollins is trying to be CM Punk and is failing miserably. Punk says he climbed to the top of the mountain for the first time in 12 years and became the top champion at SummerSlam. Another CM Punk chant fires up. Punk appreciates the cheers and chants, but he can't help but feel that he let them down because he's not a champion. He thought that before he was relentless in pursuing his goals to getting that title. He's more possessed to regaining the title. They say to hate the player and not the game. Punk has cashed in a few times, but he hates the player. Rollins is pretending to be the new CM Punk and pretending to be injured, so everyone had their guard down. Rollins cashed in. Next time they fight, he will take the title. Rollins won't have to pretend to be injured because he'll break CM Punk's legs. LA Knight heads to the ring to a huge reaction. Knight gets in the ring and stares at Punk. Knight then extends his hand. Punk shakes it and talks to him, but he can't hear what he's saying. Punk then asks if he has something to say. Knight has something to say, so let me talk to you. Everyone knows Punk was robbed at SummerSlam 2025. Punk climbed to the mountain and rose to the occasion by beating Gunther and winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk deserves to have his rematch. Punk nods his head in agreement and says, "Yeah." Knight then says, "But last week I'm having my match. It has nothing to do with you. I'm having my match with Seth Rollins, and what do? You come down, you can't contain yourself." Knight says Punk cost him his opportunity. Knight understands, but it was the wrong place at the wrong time. Knight says he doesn't have a problem with Punk. Knight says if Punk wants Seth Rollins, he should whoop his ass, but he should do it on his time. Punk should have had his rematch after Knight gets his. Punk says he thinks he sees Knight's perspective, but the words he's looking for are "Thank you, Mr. Punk, for preventing Seth Rollins from ending my career." Punk asked Knight if he thought he'd become the World Heavyweight Champion after Rollins stomped his head into the concrete. Punk says he saved Knight's career. Punk says he's a former World Heavyweight Champion, not Knight. Punk should be in front. Knight needs to go to the back of the line. Knight says when he thinks about what Punk did, think doesn't come before you. Punk did something special after 12 years. He was overdue, but Knight is even more overdue. There are levels to this. As good as Punk is, he's not on Knight's level. Knight wants them to stay out of each other's way. Knight will do him 2 favors. Knight will forget last week as long as Punk stays on the side of his line. Knight will beat Rollins and become World Heavyweight Champion. Punk can be a successful title defense, yeah. Punk says in the spirit of making sure there's no bad blood between them, he reminds him that he is the best in the world. Yeah. And here he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman comes out to the stage with the tribal cheat thief Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Heyman starts to speak French, but he stops. Heyman knows what he needs to speak to get out of his providence, speaking their guttural language. The crowd chants something, but he can't make it out. Heyman says, "Speaking of guttural language, LA Knight. Take it from the adorable oracle, not to get into the favor of business with CM Punk. If you start favors with him, it will cost him everything in life. It will cost you self-respect, your proficient in WWE, your half career, your years of life, and your tribal chief." Punk cries on a crybaby. Someone's getting punched in the face tonight. Punk invites him down to the ring. Heyman says that's a good. Heyman says he did teach Punk correctly after all these years. That's a great idea. They'll do it tonight. CM Punk and LA Knight versus the future of WrestleMania. Braun Breaker and the owner of the Shoe Fala, Bronson Reed. That challenge is for tonight. Punk and Knight look at each other. Knight says they don't want those 2 groups. Punk cuts him off and accepts the challenge. Knight says Punk doesn't speak for him, but he accepts the challenge. Heyman says, "Deal, see you tonight." Braun Breaker starts heading to the ring, but Reed and Heyman hold him back. Breaker shouts about Punk's and Knight's ages, saying they're 100 years old combined. Yeah, that's what you think, you big piece of shit. LA Knight last week on Dirty Dum Dum defeated the Dragon Lee after 3 people dressed as LA Knight, El Grande Americano Tech, AJ Styles ran him off. The Judgment Day Clubhouse, Finn Balor is talking with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. JD McDonald is also there. Intercontinental Champion Dum Dum walks with El Grande Americano. We all know is Chad Gable. El Grande Americano. I don't know, it's Chad Gable. They aren't happy that Americano's there. Bear speaks privately with Mysterio. Mysterio says he is the king of the luchadors and will use the Americano to his advantage. Balor hopes Mysterio will bring back AAA, make a championship. Mysterio tells him to trust Daddy Dumb. Mysterio walks off with Americano. AJ makes his entrance and he'll team with Dragon Lee next. Triple Mania is live this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, Eastern 6 Pacific. It's live on YouTube in English and Spanish. Here we go, tag team match. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano and Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dum Dum. Referees Eddie Orango. Dragon Lee hits El Grande Americano with a suicide dive as they make their entrance. AJ Styles kicks Mysterio in the head and rolls him into the ring. The bell rings to start the match, and Styles bounces Mysterio in the corner a few times. The crowd chants Mysterio. Styles hits Mysterio with a backbreaker before tagging Dragon Lee in. Lee comes off the top rope and with a double axe handle to the arm. Lee wrenches the arm and snaps it. Lee sends Mysterio into the ropes. Mysterio slides under the bottom rope. Mysterio gets in the ring and tags El Grande Americano in. Americano sends Lee to the corner and blocks a kick. Ludwig Kaiser, Americano shouts at Lee and chops his chest. Americano charges, but Lee sidesteps him. Americano drops Lee on the apron, but Lee shoulders him back and bounces him off the corner. Lee hits a flying crossbody block for a 2 count. Styles tags back in. Styles and Lee send Americano into the ropes before hitting a double team back elbow and some kicks. Mysterio runs in, but Styles slings him into Lee, who hits with a kind of weak-looking powerbomb. Mysterio and Americano regroup at ringside. And go to commercial break. Back from break, Mysterio takes Styles down. Mysterio sends him into the ropes. He lowers his head and eats a kick. Styles hits a Pele kick. Lee and Americano tag in. Lee ducks a pair of clotheslines and hits a running hurricanrana. Running hurricanrana. Lee clotheslines Americano, sends him into the Lee clotheslines Americano, sends him into the ropes for a back body drop, but Americano goes for Americano sends him to the ropes for a back body drop, but Americano goes for a sunset, but Lee stops and double stomps the chest. Americano hits him with a running kicks in the center, followed by a pendulum kick. Lee throws his elbow pad into the audience and hits a running elbow to the jaw. Mysterio gets up on the apron, but Lee knocks him down. Americano connects with a step up kick to the face, knocking him out of the ring. The referee tries to hold Americano back, so Mysterio uses the distraction to send Lee into the ring steps. Mysterio and Americano seem to be friends. Americano puts Lee in the ring and ties to the tail of his mask to the bottom turnbuckle. Mysterio puts a mask on and punches Lee in the ribs. Mysterio clubs the chest and applies a rear chin lock. Lee fights back and Mysterio punches him back and puts him on top rope. Mysterio climbs to the second rope and rips at the mask. Mysterio pulls him off the top ropes and running corner kick. Mysterio takes off the mask and taunts the crowd. Then we go to commercial break. Back from a break, Americano is attacking Lee on the top rope. Lee knocks him down, so Americano holds himself up on the ropes. Lee then crushes him with an elbow stomp, double stomp to the chest. Lee crawls to the corner, but Mysterio pulls Styles off the apron. Styles chases him up around the ringside area, knocking Mysterio and carrying him to the timekeepers or area in the ring. In the ring, Lee hits Americano with a German suplex followed by a super kick. Styles finally tags in and he hits Americano with a strike combo, followed by a basement forearm. Styles avalanches him in the corner before hitting a Iriguchi. 1-2. Mysterio breaks it up. Lee super kicks Mysterio. Styles then cold pats Lou into Mysterio. Lee hits a monkey flip and Styles catches Mysterio for a drag Styles clash. Lee heads up to the top rope, but Americano shoves him to the floor. Americano kicks Styles, but Styles fights back with a reverse DDT for a 2 count. Styles sets up for a Styles clash, but Americano escapes. Styles grabs him, but Americano snaps him off the top rope. Americano grabs a steel metal plate from his tights, but before he can put it under the mask, Styles stuns him with a kick. Mysterio grabs the metal piece, puts his mask on, but the metal underneath. Styles rolls Americano up, but he kicks out. The kick is out. Styles sends Mysterio, who headbutts him with an unloaded mask. Americano covers for the win. Wins by pinfall El Grande Americano and El Grande Americano and Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dum Dum. Stupid. That was a fluke right there. Terrible tag team match. It's all about the Judgment Day. Earlier today, Sami Zayn came up to Raw General GM Adam Pearce, saying asked for a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship at WWE Clash in Paris. Pearce said they should get through tonight. Rusev and talk about it. Sheamus walked in. Pearce doesn't want any more madness with Rusev. Rusev. Zayn says tonight's match matters to him. Zayn asks about his friend, asking a friend not to get involved. Sheamus gives him the word, but his match says it's over. That Bulgarian bastard is his. Sami Zayn makes his entrance. He'll face Rusev next. Commercial break. Backstage segment. Raw GM Adam Pearce is with Io Sky. Sky complains about not getting her promised title match. Pearce says she'll get it once she knows more. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez walk up and make fun of her. Perez says she's lucky she don't have to lose to Naomi again. Sky suggests a match with Perez. Pearce makes it official. They showcase how many greats have come to from Providence of Quebec. Names like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Pat Patterson, Rick Markel, and the Quebecers, and others. Who get the Mounties? The Quebecers. Raymond Rougeau, don't forget, Quebec. Maurice is a Quebec native. Last week on Raw, Sheamus and Rusev had a war that ended in a double countout. They continued the brawl, bumping into Sami Zayn in the process. Sami Zayn versus Rusev. Referee is Jessica Carr. The bell rings to start this match. They haven't fought in years. Rusev has never beaten Zayn. The crowd is into Zayn. Rusev taunts the crowd. Zayn fires them up. Zayn goes after him, but Rusev punches him down, drops an elbow and stomps to the chest. Rusev taunts the crowd and goes back to attacking Zayn. Rusev hits some shoulder thrusts into the corner. Sami Zayn ducks and chops to the chest before punching away at him in the corner. Zayn is pumped up. Rusev versus a whip and crushes Zayn back with an elbow for a 2 count. Rusev kicks Zayn and hits the ropes, but Zayn elbows and boots him back. Zayn knocks him out of the corner and knocks him out of the ring and kicks him back before hitting a Arabian press to the floor. Zayn gets Rusev in the ring and ducks 2 clotheslines, but Rusev catches him and hits a swing slam. Commercial break. We return from the break to see Rusev punching Zayn on the top rope. Rusev sets up for a suplex, but Zayn blocks it. Zayn punches him down to the canvas. Rusev charges, but Zayn jumps over him and avoids an avalanche. Zayn grabs the arm to the chest and climbs to the ropes for the springboard Trinity DDT. Zayn sets up a hell of a kick, but he runs into a macho kick from Rusev. Rusev covers for a 2 count. Rusev signals for the end, but stomps for the spine. Zayn fights out of the accolade and rolls him up for a near fall. Rusev charges, but Zayn grabs him for an exploder attempt. Rusev elbows out and punches him in the face. Rusev then puts Zayn on the apron and ties his arm to the ropes. Rusev hits Sheamus for a 10 beats of Boulderon, clubbing Zayn down to the apron. Rusev grabs Zayn by the hair, but Zayn fires back with an exploder into the turnbuckles. Zayn gets to his feet and gets the crowd going. Zayn sets up for a hell of a kick, but Tonga, Loyola, and JC Mateo pull Zayn out of the ring. Tama Tonga and U.S. champion Sol Sikoa are also there. Mateo and Loyola attack and hold Zayn up for Tonga to boot Zayn down. W officials run down and send the MFTs to the back. Winner by DQ, Sami Zayn. Rusev slowly gets up at ringside but is crushed by a barrel kick from Sheamus. Sheamus puts Rusev in the ring. WWE security runs over. Sheamus boots them up. Rusev attacks Sheamus and sends him into the crowd. They brawl into the crowd. Rusev then rips Sheamus' shirt off. Referees chase after them and they fight their way to the back. Crap. Then we go to commercial break. Moments ago, Sami Zayn was attacked by Sol Sikoa and the MFTs. This bloodline crap needs to go. Backstage segment, WWE security and Raw general manager Adam Pearce kicks Solo Sikoa and the MFTs out of the arena. Pearce calls general manager Nick Aldis, but referee Daniel Feeble cuts him off. Yeah, what they doing here is SmackDown, not Raw. It's Raw, not SmackDown. Pearce calls GM SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, but referee Daniel Feeble cuts him off, and Feeble says they are separated, Rusev and Sheamus, but Pearce doesn't believe him. Grayson Waller and the New Day come up to Pearce. Xavier Woods complains about his hat being destroyed by Penta. Pearce and says Penta will face Woods next week, so Woods can get even for sombrero. Pearce says he got business to attend to and walks off wildly. Bronson Reed is wearing the shoe Fala and says he got famous by destroying Seth Rollins. He earned respect so much that he was invited into the Vision. Reed doesn't respect Reigns. Reed has punked Reigns twice. The reason why it hasn't happened for a third time, he hasn't man up him to a third time. When he does, Reed will add to his collection. He will do it until Reigns acknowledges his tribal chief. Reed shouts tsunami. Big Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker will battle LA Knight and CM Punk in tonight's main event. WWE Raw is live in Quebec City and is presented by Snickers. Then we see Gorilla Position. Io Sky is walking through the tunnel by Gorilla Position. Asuka and Kairi Zhang of the Kabuki Warriors offer to be in her corner to keep things fair. Sky declines and says she's got this. They hug before she walks. They hug Sky, walks off. We nearly get a Damage Control reunion. Io Sky makes her entrance, and we go to commercial break. Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez. Sean Bennett is the referee. The bell rings and they circle the ring before locking up. Sky powers against the ropes, but Perez turns it around. Perez goes for a right hand, but Sky ducks it. Sky applies her wrist lock, but Perez gets out and wrenches the arm. Sky fights back and wrenches her arm. Perez rolls through and wrenches her arm, bringing Sky to her knees. Perez soon applies a grapevine, to the midsection and turns her over twice to pick up a 2 count. Sky pushes back to pin Perez's shoulders to the mat for a 2 count. Perez hits a headlock takeover and picks up a 2 count, picks up a 1 count. Sky applies a head scissor and clinches it in, but Perez bridges out and gets to her feet. Perez shoves Sky so angrily takes her down and applies a side headlock. Sky hits a headlock takeover, but Perez applies a head scissor. Sky does a headstand and gets out before hitting a shote uppercut. Sky kicks away at Perez. Perez ducks a kick to the head and rolls her up for a 2 count. Perez slings her down by the hair and talks some trash. Perez puts her in the corner and bounces her face off the top turnbuckle. Sky blocks a second attempt and punches back. Perez knees her in the midsection. Sky reverses a whip and drops down, but Perez cartwheels her over and slaps her in the face. Sky is furious. Perez ducks a clothesline and rolls her into a head scissor takeover. Sky flips and lands her feet. Sky slaps her in the face and hits the ropes before doing cartwheel. Sky then drop kicks Perez and out of the ring. Rodriguez head checks on Perez, so Sky hits them with a suicide dive. Perez manages to avoid a major impact and attacks Sky, sending her into the ring steps. Commercial break. Back from the break, Perez takes Sky down. Perez puts her on the ropes and hits a running uppercut to the back of the neck. Perez hits a double jump springboard moonsault for a 2 count. Sky struggles to get up, so Perez talks some trash. Perez smashes face off the middle turnbuckle a few times before backing up. Perez hits a running uppercut and throws her down. Perez goes to the second rope and leaps, but Sky drop kicks her out of midair. Perez rolls to the corner and Perez checks on her. Sky hits a pair of clotheslines, followed by a drop kick. Perez reverses a whip. Sky leaps onto the apron. Sky kicks her back, but camera shows she really hit the top rope. Sky goes up to the top rope and hits a missile drop kick before getting to her feet, firing up the crowd. Sky connects a bullet train attack. 1-2, Perez kicks out. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Sky hits the top rope, but Perez rolls to the apron. Sky grabs her by the hair, but Perez rolls her down, ribs first, onto the top rope. Perez goes to the top rope and hits a superhero Karana. Perez crushes her with a cartwheel double knee to the back of the neck for a near fall. Perez knocks her down and goes for a sunset flip, but Sky pops up and kicks her in the face. Sky sizes her up for a bullet train attack, but Perez moves out of the way. Perez asks for a minute for a timeout, but Sky isn't having it. Sky drags her into the ring. As she does, Perez pulls the apron out into the ring. The referee tries to put it back. Perez uses distraction to rake the eyes. It's a scissoring, shining for a near fall. Perez goes goes around the world and takes her down and applies a crossface. Sky pushes back for a pin, but Perez slides her off for a 2 count. Sky hits a double underhook backbreaker and picks up for a near fall. Sky slaps the mat in frustration. Rodriguez checks on Perez again. Perez falls out of the ring and jumps Sky over an attack from Rodriguez and kicks her away. Sky then hits him with a side moonsault. Sky gets Perez in the ring and heads to the top rope. Sky goes over the moonsault. Perez gets her boots up, and Sky comes up short and actually lands her with her shins on in Perez's chest. Ouch. Rodriguez gets on the apron and distracts the referee. Perez goes to take top turnbuckle off. Oscar and Kairi Sane run down to stop her. They hold Perez up for Sky and charges. Sky charges, but Perez moves. Sky puts him on the brakes before hitting Oscar and Zane. Perez pushes Sky into them and rolls her up with a handful of tights for the win. Winning by pinfall, Roxanne Perez. The Kabuki Warriors are not pleased with Sky. Sky tries to explain herself. Yo, it was an accident. I mean, come on. I mean, that was it was Perez's fault. She bumped, she pushed Sky when she's pushed Sky into them. It wasn't their fault. It was Roxanne's fault. Looks like it's the end of the Kabuki of damage control. Jackie Redmond is backstage with main event Jey Uso. Uso missed last week's Raw, and Seth Rollins used the opportunity to take out his cousin, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Uso says receipts are coming and was handling family business. LA Knight walks up and says the line starts behind him. Knight insinuates that Uso missed Raw on purpose. Uso says he'll send Knight to the back of the line. Yeet! LA Knight and CM Punk will team up to take on Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed in tonight's main event. Backstage segment. Maxine Dupree is walking with Takira Tozawa and Natalya. Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch is also shown walking backstage. She'll put the title on the line next to Dupree. Commercial break. They put over WWE podcast happening this week. Backstage segment, Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors are upset backstage. Sky says that they didn't help her because she lost. An angry Asuka shows Sky and walks off. Kane looks torn as Sky looks at Sky before running after Asuka. I mean, it wasn't her fault. I mean, Perez bumped into them. Last week, Becky Lynch confronted Nikki Bella. Lynch shoved her down. Backstage, Natalya was upset and challenged Lynch to a match. Lynch accepted the match, yet a man whore accepted the match against Maxine Dupree. Women's Intercontinental Champion match, Maxine Dupree with Takira Tozawa and Natalya versus the man whore Becky Lynch. Referees Danilo Fibio. The bell rings and a lockup before Lynch powers her to the corner. Lynch bullies her a bit. That's why I said she's a bully before backing up. Lynch applies a wrist lock and shoves her from behind. Dupree goes for a wrist lock and slings her down and walks on her. Dupree applies a side headlock, but Lynch slides her out and applies a side headlock. Dupree whips her off, but Lynch shoulder tackles her down. Lynch says, "Get out of my ring. You don't deserve to be here." Natalya tells Dupree to show Lynch who she really is. Lynch opens up the ropes for Dupree to leave. Dupree pretends to leave, but before hitting an arm drag, Lynch sidesteps a drop kick and boots her down. Lynch beats her down in the corner and talks some trash before hitting a running forearm. Lynch pulls her up by the hair and hits a Bexploder. Lynch grabs Dupree by it and hits a second Bexploder. Lynch connects with his third Bexploder, and she is just playing with her food now. Lynch pulls her up by the hair, so Dupree slaps her away. Lynch goes for a manhandle slam, but Dupree counters her with a stunner. Lynch gets up holding her jaw. Yeah, she deserves the job to act like a real bully to Maxine Dupree. Lynch gets up holding her jaw, but Dupree avoids an avalanche, sets up for a springboard kick. But Dupree blocks it and applies an ankle lock. Lynch twists out, so Dupree does a handspring. Dupree hits a clothesline and punches away at her in the corner. Lynch rolls her out of the ring and recover. Dupree hits a baseball slide and gets fired up. Dupree gets her in the ring and goes to the top rope. Dupree hits a diving crossbody block for a 2 count. Dupree sets her up for a sharpshooter, but Lynch kicks her away. Dupree gets a spin kick before doing an O'Connor roll. Lynch rolls through and grabs the ropes, but the referee catches her. Dupree rolls her up for a 2 count. Lynch kicks out and applies a disarmer for the win. Winner by submission, women's Intercontinental Champion, the man whore, Becky Lynch. Lynch continues to talk trash Dupree. Natalya manages her before going to check on Dupree. Lynch kicks Natalya down and leaves. Wow. What a slut you turn out to be, Becky. And your husband's a piece of shit. You know what I'm talking about, Seth Rollins. World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins is backstage with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed. Rollins says they are on top of the world. Rollins was expecting to come off this dump of a town to deal with this CM Punk problem. But if you don't like Quebec, get the hell out of it, you arrogant piece of shit. To deal with the CM Punk problem, but it turns out Punk has an LA Knight problem. Knight has a CM Punk problem. Now they have a Braun problem. Rollins has no problems. Tonight isn't about him. It's all about Breaker and Reed. Rollins says, boys, stack some bodies. I'm out of this dump. Rollins says he'll head to the jet and get some Wi-Fi. Rollins walks off. CM Punk is shown talking on stage with CM commercial break. Video Bailey it says she's not sure how she got here. She's been doing this for almost 13 years and she has never felt this way. In a way, she wants more but feels less. She wants more and feels nothing. Bailey says it's her fault. It's right. In the process of her career, the role model felt like something before she called herself that. Before she was one before she called herself that. Bailey thought she could never change and help this division, being someone people in the locker room could look up to, or someone to look up to behind the barricade. No, now she's here by herself. She feels everything she has done to got her nowhere. She's here with nothing to show but with a championship or a win. In last year, Bailey can't remember the last time she felt proud of herself. Bailey says it's her fault. Bailey shakes her head. You're right, it's her fault. She is right. Jackie Redmond is backstage with Lyra Valkyrie. Redmond asks about what we just saw from Bailey. Valkyrie hopes she's okay. Bailey cut her out, so she's had no idea. It can't be what she said to Bailey last week. She was right because Bailey cost her the Intercontinental Championship. It's not her fault. Bailey's on her own. Bailey walked us off. Well, Valkyrie, it is her fault. That man whore Becky Lynch, the man whore, wouldn't still be the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Women's would still have a Women's Intercontinental Championship belt around the waist if it wasn't for Karen Boyley. But I think we all know Bayley's gonna turn heel. She's gonna stab Lyra in the back. We all know she's jealous of Lyra. Backstage segment, Io Sky is walking backstage with Stephanie Vicaria comes up to her. Vicaria says Sky isn't the only one who was promised a title match and walks off. Ripley comes up to say Ripley gets a huge ovation. Ripley says she was looking forward to Sky earning another title shot against Naomi. If Asuka and Kairi Sane had just listened to her, can she trust him? Sky says she doesn't appreciate what Ripley's trying to say. Sky wants Ripley to stay out of it. Sky walks off. This Friday on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre will address his attack on Cody Rhodes. You know what? I think Drew McIntyre should just go away from the wrestling business. I mean, retire. I mean, he's been having every type opportunity which you whine and complain. I mean, he had his he had opportunities. I mean, he had a chance in 2000. What was it, like 2020 or something? In 2021, 2020, yeah, yeah, something like that. I mean, you had your chances. Pass the torch, man. Just pass the torch, please. Pass the torch to Cody, and stop crying like a bitch, whining. Next Monday, Wwe Raw will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, the city brother loves LA Knight and CM Punk versus John. Yeah, the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the place where CM Punk, where Paul Heyman created ECW. And all I can say is this: screw CM, screw Seth, screw Heyman, screw Division. Heyman needs to go away. He needs to go. This isn't ECW. There's no Sandman, no Taz, no Dudley Boys, no RVD, not even his late friend New Jack because he's dead. No offense. But we all know next Saturday, well, next week he's gonna get booed. He's gonna get booed in Philadelphia. Because remember who he said that ECW is dead. He made ECW. Here we go to the tag team match. Main event: LA Knight and CM Punk versus Braun Dickhead Breaker and Big Fat Bronson Reed. No offense, with the Fat Walls Paul Heyman. No offense. Referee Rod Zapata. Before the match starts, Breaker and Reed Avalanche Punk and Knight. Reed shoulders Knight in the corner and punches him down. Referee calls for the bell to start the match as Reed continues to attack Knight. Reed punches Knight and tags in Breaker. Breaker sends Knight, who's still in the ring in his ring vest, into the ropes, and he lowers his head and eats a kick. Knight attacks Breaker and wrenches away at the iron. Knight hits a short arm clothesline, and Punk applies his partner. Punk tags in and wrenches Breaker's iron a few times. Knight tags in and punches Breaker in the midsection. Knight applies a front face lock and tags in Punk. Punk kicks Breaker in the head and ribs and sends him into the ropes. Breaker holds the ropes and Punk follows him and hits a clothesline over the top rope. Reed runs in, but Punk ducks and tries to clothesline him over the top rope. Reed is too heavy to go over. Punk tries again for the same result. Knight tags in and tries to clothesline Reed over the top rope, but he is unsuccessful. Punk and Knight talk to each other before hitting the ropes and hitting a double team over the rope. Commercial break. Back from the break, Breaker and Reed taking it to Punk. Breaker scoops Punk and hits a rib breaker for a one count before doing some push-ups. Breaker applies a headlock and arm lock. The Punk fights up and hits a jawbreaker. Reed tags in and avalanches Punk. Punk wrestling in a shirt. Reed drops an axe handle on Punk before applying a neck vice. Paul Heyman, wearing a Shula Fowler, watches from the ringside. Punk fights out of the neck and boots him in the back before sidestepping an avalanche. Knight tags in and punches away at Reed. Knight hits some clotheslines, but Reed stays standing. Knight ducks a pair of clotheslines and takes Reed out with a leaping clothesline. The crowd is going wild. Knight hits a net breaker and sizes him up. Knight goes for a blunt force trauma, but Reed pushes him off. Knight fights back with a reverse DDT and rolls up to his feet. Knight goes for a second rope, but he leaps off the clothesline. Breaker the apron. Knight sends Breaker into the ring post. Reed avalanches Knight from behind. Knight recovers at ringside, so Breaker smashes him with a diving clothesline over the commentary table. Breaker jumps to the commentary table and looks pumped up. Then we go to commercial break. Back from the final break of the evening. Breaker and Knight are down in the center of the ring. Breaker pulls Knight back from making a tag. Knight tries to punch him away. Breaker hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Reed tags in and stomps Knight. Reed sends Knight into the ropes for a back elbow for a mocking Roman with a point up to the sky. Reed sends Knight into the ropes. Knight attempts a sunset flip, but Reed doesn't go down. Reed goes for a cannonball, but Knight moves and Breaker distracts Punk as Knight goes for a tag. Knight wonders what Punk is doing. Reed pulls Knight away and hits a senton splash for a near fall. Reed knocks Punk off the apron and puts him in the corner. Reed puts Knight over in the electric chair. Breaker tags in and hits a avalanche diving bulldog 1-2. Punk breaks it up. Reed sends Punk out of the ring and tags in. Reed crosses Knight before a hit going for a suntan splash, but Knight moves. Punk gets on the apron and Knight starts crawling to the corner. Punk and Breaker tag in. Punk hits a big boot followed by a clothesline. Punk sends him to the ropes and hits a heel kick. Punk hooks the head and does some barking and hits a vertical suplex. Punk hits a running knee in the corner, but Punk hits a second one followed by a short arm clothesline. Punk goes to the top. Reed gets on the apron but Knight knocks him down and hits a baseball slide into the commentary table. Punk stands on the rope. The crowd loudly applauds for him. Punk hits a Macho Man elbow drop and takes off his shirt. Punk signals for a go sleep. But World Heavyweight Champion, a piece of shit, Seth Rollins attacks him from behind. Winners by DQ, LA Knight and CM Punk. Division takes it to Knight and Punk until main event Jey Uso comes out with a steel chair. Uso comes down the aisleway and hits Breaker in the ribs with a steel chair before smashing on his back. Reed challenges Uso to get in the ring. Uso ducks an attack from Reed. Rollins rolls out of the ring before being attacked. Reed swats a chair out of Uso's hands. Uso punches away at him before hitting him with a back with a chair. Knocking Reed out of the ring, Uso stands tall with Punk and Knight. While GM Adam Pearce comes out of the stage, it will be easy for him to come out here. Rollins calls Rollins a liar who disrupts his main events. Pearce won't be angry and will see this as an opportunity. Pearce says Rollins just earned a freaking opportunity to defend his title at Clash in Paris. Main event Jey Uso, LA Knight and CM Punk. Rollins is furious. Oh, this poor little Seth Rollins. Is Becky Lynch's piece of shit husband pissed off? Too bad. Pearce says it's a fatal 4-way. It's official. Punk and Knight start to argue and taking it down to each other. They punch away at each other. Uso pulls Knight off and Knight elbows him. Punk goes for a GTS on Knight. But the Division attacks him from behind. Breaker hits CM Punk with a spear. They send Knight out of the ring as stomps away at Punk. Breaker gets out of the ring and the Knight lands LA Knight's Knight with a spear at ringside. Reed picks hits a Death Valley driver. Reed goes to the top rope and hits Uso with a tsunami. Breaker puts Knight in the ring. Rollins hits him with a stomp. Rollins sizes up and hits him with a stomp. Rollins says that's 2 down. Breaker and Reed hold up Punk. Punk is furious and says he will kill Rollins. Rollins says, "Look in my eyes, what do you see?" Rollins says he will never be the world champion. Rollins crushes the second set with a stomp. Rollins holds the World Championship. Division stands tall and ends the show. Once again, 2 nights in a row we see getting away with it again. Division. Don't worry, Seth. you're gonna get yours. Come Clash in Paris. So you can tell your wife Becky um who's your daddy, because you're already a father anyway. With the you and Becky have a little girl. Yeah, tell your wife Becky Lynch who's your daddy, because daddy won't know, won't hurt her. No offense. Yeah, no offense. Sorry I said that. No offense. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Yeah, tell you, yeah, because daddy won't. Like I said, because daddy won't know, won't hurt her, asshole. Yeah, yeah. No offense to that. So that'll do it for my review. Now it's time for something I like to do. I know what it's time for. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now I know what it's time for. It's time for. It's time for Justin's timeline. All the wrestling history and birthdays. All pop culture, all that stuff. So let's go to Saturday. All you hear that thing from Back to the Future starring Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. It celebrates 40th anniversary on July 3rd, 2020. Because the movie was released July 3rd, 1985. Yeah, yeah. Let's get down to business. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's go to Saturday, August the 9th, shall we? Oh, so I'm trying to think, get this thing to load. Okay, August the 9th, 2024 marked the first anniversary of the passing of Kevin Sullivan, who died of a blood clot, the Taskmaster. He died at Concord, Massachusetts at the age of 70, 75. And he would have been 76, and he would have been, yeah, he died at the age of, what is it, 74, I think. I think he died at the age of 74. Yeah, he died at the age of 7, wait, hold on, wait, he died at the age of 73. And he would have been 75 today. I mean, he died at the age of 70. He died at the age of 74. That's right, 74, and he died, and he died at the age of 74, and he would have been, and he died 1 year ago today. He died 1 year ago from Saturday. Alexa Bliss turned 32 last Saturday. Okay, Silas Young would have been 45 last Saturday. The real deal, Chris Steele, he would have been. He turned. I mean, he turned 38. He turned 38 last Saturday. Swiss wrestler Mia Svensson turned 40 last Saturday. Sam Adonis turned 36 yesterday. Vinny Massaro, he turned 47 last 47 last Saturday. Okay, August 9th, 1975, at an MSG house show performed by WWF, now WWE, in Madison Square Garden, New York City. Barry Michaels Coon defeated Manuel Soto. Chief J Strongbow and Wall of Eric fought in a draw. Spirios Arion defeated Dean Ho. Victor Rivera defeated Butcher Vachon. Bugs McGraw defeated Tony Gurria. Dominic DiNucci and Pat Berry defeated Blackjacks for the International Tag Team titles, WWF International Tag Team titles. Andre the Giant and Vern Gagne defeated the Valiant Brothers 2 out of 3 falls match. Bruno Sammartino and George Steele defeated George Steele for the WWF World title, which is WWE. Okay, let's see. Alex, okay, let's see. See what else? What else? Trying to see what else. Okay, 1985 on WWF Wrestling Challenge was WWF Friday Night Titans. Let's see. Yeah, on Friday Night Titans, Captain Lou Albano, Byron Bring Heenan, Roddy Piper, and more joined Mr. Man, Laura Phrase for Tuesday Night Titans. Let's see what else you're trying to see. Okay, a couple of movies released in theaters August the 9th. Movie called a couple of movies released in theaters called Summer Rental, starring John Candy, young Joey Lawrence, John Larroquette from Night Court, Cary Green from The Goonies, and Richard Crenna from the First Blood movies. First Blood movies. And a dim sum a little bit when my heart was released, starring comedian comedian Asian comedian Amy Hill and Asian actress Chinese actress Hong Kong actress Joan Chen. My Science Project, starring John Stockwell, Daniel Versace, Fisher Stevens, Richard Mazur, and Barry Corbin and Dennis Hopper, was released in theaters. And Pray for Death, starring Sho Kozugi, was released. And Pee Wee's Big Adventure, starring the late Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, was released as well. It had many celebrities in the movie. Yeah. Now let's go. Now let's go to the next day. Let's go to August the 10th. Hold on one second. See, I'm trying to see. Okay, August the 10th. Yesterday, August the 10th. Okay, yesterday was a happy 45th birthday to Wade Barrett, English wrestler. Jim Crockett Jr., late Grim Jim Crockett Jr., he would have been 81 yesterday. He would have been 81 years old yesterday. He died of kidney failure on March 3rd, 2021. He was a wrestling promoter. He was now joining his father, Jim Crockett. Let's see. Madison Square Garden, 1985, August the 10th. MSG show, New York City, New York, from one of WWE, WWF. Paul Roman defeated Charlie Fulton. Lenny Poffo and Iron Mike Sharp fought in the draw. The Missing Link defeated Tony Gurria. Pedro Morales defeated Barry O. Uncle Elmer defeated Big John Studd by DQ. Tony Atlas defeated Les Thornton. Andre Giant Paul defeated Bob Orton and Roddy Piper. The Macho Man Randy Savage defeated Jose Luis Rivera. Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, US Express, defeated Bruce Barber Beefcake and Greg Valentine for WWE Tag Team titles. And Captain Lou Albano was by their side. In 2015, let's see, 2015, Monday Night Raw. Okay, the Monday Night Raw, Team Bella, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Alicia Fox defeated Team Bad, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods defeated Los Matadores, Randy Orton defeated Cesaro, and Kevin Owens in triple threat match to be number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt defeated Dean Ambrose with Roman Reigns, And Mark Henry versus Rusev with Summer Rae ended no contest until yeah, Summer Rae got a little payback for that rotten fish from last week. Summer Rae, it was a real despicable act. Neville defeated King Baron. Randy Orton defeated Seth piece of shit Rollins by DQ in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. And then we see a Miz TV saying that the Randy Dine appeared, and we see in Ryback hyping up SummerSlam. Then we see a segment with Cesaro, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens confronting the dickhead piece of shit Seth Rollins, and see Triple H in there. Now we go to August 11th. It's at 11:58 right now. Hulk Hogan would have been 70, who just lost on July 25th, July 23rd, July 24th. Hulk Hogan, he would have been 74 today. Yeah, he would have been 70. Hulk Hogan would have been. He would have been 72 today. And Hulk Hogan 72 today. Kaylee Ray turns. Scottish wrestler, she turns 33 today. Yeah, Bill Alfonso with the ECW referee who turns 68 today. Okay, well, bam, it's 12 a.m. right now. AW St. Paul show August 11, 1905. St. Paul Civic Center, St. Paul, Minnesota. Tom Zink defeated Rick Renslow. Jimmy Garvin defeated Kevin Kelly. Buck Zumho defeated the Iron Duke. Brad Rheingans defeated Boris Zukov by DQ. Greg Kabuki defeated Chris Evans by DQ. Sergeant Slaughter defeated Larry Zbyszko. Nick Bachman defeated Greg Gagne. Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and Rick DeMar Martel defeated Michael PSAs and Terry Gordy. The Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, and Bill, the Irwin brothers, defeated them. It was a defeating draw, no count out for the AWA Tag Team titles. And pop culture history for yesterday, 1995, in film. Yeah, 3 movies released in theaters. A Kid in King Arthur's Court, starring Thomas Ian Nicholas, some of you know from American Pie movies and the Rookie of the Year. Kate Winslet, young Kate Winslet, and knows the young Kate Winslet and Daniel Craig before they become real famous movie stars. Kate Winslet will become famous for doing movies like Titanic, and she also did the same year Sense and Sensibility, and Daniel Craig will be going to do James Bond movies. A Walk in the Clouds was released starring Keanu Reeves, and then my favorite movie I just mentioned, my favorite movie Dangerous Minds was released starring Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, August 11, 1995 for that. Let's see let's see now 2005 SmackDown leading up to SummerSlam 2005. Booker T Booker T with Shamel defeated Joey Mercury with Jillian Hall, Johnny Nacho, and Alina. In WWE Tag Team title match, Henry Wright and the Royal Animal defeated John Static and Scott Sabre. Singles match, Kamala with Kimchi versus Reno in no contest. See a tag team match, Mescus and Psychosis and Super Crazy with Heaven to Guerrera defeating Sky Too Hot and William Regal. And Chris Benoit defeated Simon Dean. And we see a little segment here. Eddie Guerrero getting custody of Dum Dum. I bet you, yeah, now 20 years later, Dum Dum became a piece of shit. I guess Eddie Guerrero is loving this, isn't he? Who's in heaven right now? I guess he think Dum Dum thinks Eddie was right. Yeah, Batista defeated Christian by DQ as the show ends. Then we Tough Enough. Tough Enough. It ain't tough enough. Mm, isn't tough enough. Okay, on Tough Enough. Okay, the feature return John Cena, who addressed the 6 final contestants and discussed the unique challenges of the competition. One of the bottom 3 contestants, Miz, was praised for his entertainment value, while Tanner and Sarah were criticized for lack of charisma and overall performance, respectively. Ultimately, Gigi was eliminated from the competition. And on Total Divas, yeah, it featured Natalia admitting to the Bella twins that she has been lying to Tyson Kidd. Initially, Dinky Bella expressed her concern that Brie Bella wasn't worried about Dane Bryan's health. The episode included bonus content where Natalia discussed the cost of home repairs and vented about moving home ownership. Let's see what else. Okay, Rusev with Summer Rae defeated Fandango. Jack Swagger defeated Adam Rose. King Barry and Stardust defeated Mark Henry and R-Truth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that will do it. And that'll do it. I'm the God now. That will do for everything. Got everything covered. Now I'm the. It's time for me to hit the road. Get off. Hit some shit. Give me some sleep. It's midnight. It's 12:05 in the morning. It's a late Chad Henshaw always say I like to dress like a Trevor Tucker, sing like Lionel Richie, dance like James Brown. I like to get in that hot tub. Gonna be sweat. Gonna be dry. Gonna be wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy doing the impression of James Brown, Saturday Night Live back in the years I never grew up in the years, grew up in the 90s. I saw old school Saturday Night Live back, old school Saturday Night when I was little on Comedy Central. So that will do for my review and everything. Now I'm gonna close out with something for all of you. For those of you who know, yesterday was Hulk Hogan's birthday. He would have been 72 yesterday. And we lost on July 24th, 2005. We closed out the show with this interesting music, Real American, by Rick Derringer, for Hulk Hogan's 72nd birthday. So God bless his soul. And we're going to miss Hulk Hogan. Just thinking from all the memories. The man likes to say his prayer, like to tell everyone else to say his prayers, eat our vitamins. Yeah, I would say, the man, the Babe Ruth of pro wrestling. The man likes to tell us to say our prayers and eat our vitamins. He died of a heart attack on July 24, 2025. Terry Bollea, better known as Hulk Hogan. And all I can say is rest in peace, Hulkster. We miss you, dude. Hulkamania will always run wild forever. And what are we going to do when those 24-inch pythons and Hulkamania ones riled on us, brother? This is for you, Hulk Hogan. God rest your soul. Good night, everybody. Hold on a second.